The Independent National Electoral Commission has issued a guideline in which it bans political parties and candidates from using places of worship as campaign grounds. The electoral umpire relied on relevant sections of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended to arrive at the decision. Protection of the sanctity of places of worship against political manipulation is the focus of Panorama today. I am Sulema Rigachku. Follow this news broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live and on YouTube channel NTA News Online and our other social media platforms displayed on the screen. First, King Charles III has formally been proclaimed Britain's new king by the Accession Council on Saturday in a history-laden ceremony following the death of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II. The council televised for the first time is a centuries-old formality to recognize the new king's sovereignty, even though he automatically became monarch after the queen's passing. The 73-year-old Charles officially took his vow as the new king, saying he was deeply aware of the duties and heavy responsibility of sovereignty. Several hundred privy councillors, including current Prime Minister Liz Truss and all of her living predecessors, Charles' wife Camilla and his eldest son and heir William, all attended. Charles said his mother, who died on Thursday in Balmoral, aged 96, gave an example of lifelong love and selfless service that he promised to emulate.
Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and of his other realms and territories, King, Head of the Commonwealth, Defender of the Faith, to whom we do acknowledge all faith and obedience with humble affection, beseeching God, by whom kings and queens do reign, to bless his majesty with long and happy years to reign over us. God save the King!
In taking up these responsibilities, I shall strive to follow the inspiring example I have been set in upholding constitutional government and to seek the peace, harmony and prosperity of the peoples of these islands and of the Commonwealth realms and territories throughout the world. In this purpose, I know that I shall be upheld by the affection and loyalty of the peoples whose sovereign I have been called upon to be, and that in the discharge of these duties, I will be guided by the counsel of their elected parliaments. In all this, I am profoundly encouraged by the constant support of my beloved wife.
At St. James Palace, decked out in crimson and gold, the Accession Council took place in two parts, the first of which Charles was absent while they proclaimed him king. The clerk of the council announced that Prince Charles Philip Arthur George is now, by the death of Our Lady Sovereign of happy memory, become our King Charles III. God save the King. The assembled councillors then repeated, God save the King. Charles' accession will be announced publicly by a trumpet fanfare and a proclamation from a balcony of the palace at 100 GMT. Meanwhile, the federal government has directed that Nigerian flags in the country and other diplomatic missions across the globe to fly at half-mast from tomorrow to Monday in honor of the memory of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II, who died last Thursday. In a statement by Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the decision is to specially mourn the British Queen, who was also the leader of the Commonwealth of Nations community. Governor Muhammadu Inuwa has expressed formal appreciation to President Muhammadu Buhari for enhanced federal presence in Gombe State, describing recent presidential interventions as critical to towards achieving sustainable economic development. The governor stated this while briefing journalists after an audience with President Muhammadu Buhari, who also received Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State House correspondent at Musandi. Adamu Sambo has the details.
Muhammadu Yahya was in the State House to say thank you to the President for, amongst others, approving the takeover of Gombe Airport by the federal government, the expansion of the Gombe Regional Water Supply Project, and the construction of a critical road infrastructure project linking Gombe and Bauchi states by the Northeast Development Commission.
That road equally links with Yobe and eventually ends in Borno State. So that means we have a thoroughfare through all our states, and specifically in Gombe State. The award of that contract will help in providing access, which means more prosperity to the people. But above all, the most important development is the takeover of the Gombe Airport by the federal government. It means there will be more facilities, more resources, and there will be more proper management so that economic activity will be enhanced.
Discussions with the President also centered on political developments in the state and ways of sustaining the prevailing peace enterprise in Gombe, having been largely insulated from the security challenges in the Northeast sub-region.
And I think very soon you'll see germane, results coming out of our discussions. What we are doing to enhance security is to encourage people and encourage connectivity. This government alone is investing in developing 100 kilometers of road networks. We call it Network 1100 in all the 11 local governments of Gombe State. So connectivity is helping in security, is helping in economic prosperity, and is helping in providing welfare to the majority of the people. But above all, what we are doing, especially with in facing the future, is the provision of that industrial park. By December, inshallah, we shall finish the first phase of 364 hectares with all the infrastructure needed for the industries to thrive. And that is close to the power base of the Dadonko Dam, which is generating 40 megawatts of electricity.
Governor Yahya, who is expected to coordinate the APC presidential campaigns in the Northeast, expressed absolute confidence in the ability of the governing party to win more states in the zone and indeed retain the presidency. A similar optimism was expressed in respect of the Southeast sub-region by the governor of Ebonyi State, David Umahi, who was also granted audience by the president.
The structure and the spread of APC is such that victory is assured, and I can assure you that some of the disagreements in some states are going to be resolved. The mechanism has been put in place by Mr. President, the candidate of the party, his vice, and then the national chairman and the leadership of the party, to sort out those differences. And I think we are well prepared, for victory in 2023.
Governor Umahi is here to invite President Muhammadu Buhari for the inauguration of the newly constructed Ebonyi State Governor's Lodge in Abuja.
And when I say it's the best governor's lodge anywhere in this country, I mean it's the best governor's lodge anywhere in this country. It's quite befitting for Mr. President and Mr. President alone to be the one to commission it.
The Governor's Lodge, one of the legacy projects of the Umahi administration, is expected to be inaugurated in the middle of next month. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
The undesirable practices sometimes indulged in by law enforcement agencies and insurgent groups is the use of torture to obtain confessions. Now, there is a renewed drive by the federal government to outlaw the practice by reconstituting the National Committee Against Torture. Attorney General and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami OCN says it is part of Nigeria's obligations under the United Nations Convention Against Torture, INCAT.
It's responsible, and our responsibility is to ensure that the impediments arising when we are engaging efforts for the purpose of assisting the youth platform. So, I'm saying in essence, it's what matters most is deliverable, and for delivery we expect requirements, tools associated with budgetary provision, tools associated with access, tools associated with incidental maybe engagement with other institutions, both civil and otherwise.
Of the committee are drawn from security agencies, Nigerian Bar Association, and civil society organizations. Effectiveness of intelligence gathering and sharing in tackling the challenges of insecurity was the center of discussions at the zonal conference of the state directors of the Department of State Services in the Northwest Zone held in Dutse, Jigawa State. Ibrahim Bello tells us more.
Nigeria is currently grappling with security breaches cutting across the 6 geopolitical zones, ranging from insurgency, banditry, kidnapping, cattle rustling, armed robbery, among other criminal tendencies. It is against this backdrop that the Department of State Services came out with this proactive approach in tackling security challenges bedeviling the country. Jigawa State Governor Muhammad Badar Abubakar, represented by his deputy Umar Namadi, in opening the conference, described it as timely. He pledges government continuous support to all security agencies in the state to function effectively.
As well as see how they can synergize and group themselves, and also see how they can also synergize with other community agencies in dealing with security challenges in their respective states. I think it's very, very important.
The Director, Department of State Services, Jigawa State Command, Adamu Abubakar, says the zonal conference concept is the brainchild of their Director General, Yusuf Magaji Bichi, to reposition the services in tackling security challenges.
And experience here through a education and review contemporary security challenges so as to provide 100 million to the identified security threat.
Jigawa State Commissioner of Police Aliu Tafida, who spoke on behalf of sister agencies in the state, commended the synergy and inter-agencies collaboration that existed among them. As a sideline to the event, Governor Badaru's representative inaugurates the DSS Jigawa State Command Clinic with some of the hospital equipment donated by the Jigawa State government. From Dutse, Ibrahim Bello, NTA.
And report just reaching us says another set of 3 Chibok school girls abducted by Boko Haram along their children have been rescued, while commanders, other insurgents of Boko Haram and ISWAP have surrendered. This success story was disclosed by Theater Commander, Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai, Major General Christopher Musa in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. Omaru Kirawa reports.
Communities finally being resettled and socio-economic activities picking up in fast pace, the ongoing counter-insurgency operations in the northeast sub-region has continued to yield unprecedented results, with peace taking root in the nook and cranny of the lectured region. Jinkai Yamani and her 3 colleagues with their children were among the newly rescued abducted Chibok schoolgirls who are happy to regain their freedom, calling on marauding fighters to come out and embrace peace. The development, according to the Theater Commander, Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hadinkai, Major General Christopher Musa, formed part of the successfully rescued 178 out of the 276 Chibok schoolgirls, as well as other success stories including the surrender of over 79,000 Boko Haram and ISWAP members and their families, with recovery of weapons among others.
For the insurgents, those that are willing to surrender, they still have that window to surrender.
General Officer Commanding 7th Division, Major General Waidi Shaibu, said they are unrelenting in ensuring the restoration of lasting peace in their area of responsibility. In Maiduguri, Umaru Kirawa, NTA News.
Less than 3 weeks to the commencement of electioneering campaigns for the Presidential and National Assembly elections, political parties are marshalling strategy to canvass for votes. However, the Independent National Electoral Commission has issued campaign guidelines for political parties and candidates against using of places of worship as campaign avenue. Adam Sunday takes a look at efforts of the electoral umpire to protect the sanctity of places of worship, prelude to the campaign activities.
Decision of the Independent National Electoral Commission to remind political parties and their candidates not to turn place of worship as campaign ground is equal to Section 92 of the Electoral Act 2022 as amended. In addition, it will further stop manipulation of followers from tilting their preference during election.
The mosque is specifically meant for worshipping Allah, serving Allah, and teaching the Muslims their religion, how to know their religions. That is the only thing why mosques are meant for. It doesn't even arise for the politicians going to coming to mosque or going to mosque. Campaigning. They can go to any other places, stadium or what have you. But the mosque is not for that. It's meant to serve Allah.
This will make all the ministers of the word of God and all the imams to concentrate on doing what they're supposed to do, not to be delving to the affairs of the nation. Our own work is to pray.
There is this strong belief among political analysts that the country desires a leader with capacity and ability, not a leader that will emerge on account of his faith, tribe or region.
I am 100% with the INEC Electoral Act. There should be no campaign in the church. There should be no campaign in the mosques. If you know you are good, go out and play politics in the society and community, not in a place of worship.
Politics and religion should not be joined together or practiced together, because it will lead to a whole lot of problems in the country.
The prohibition of political campaigns around place of worship is a good omen, as some politicians are planning to use the platform to achieve their ulterior motives. Adamu Sunday, NTA News.
Muhammad Awal Mashi is the acting resident electoral commissioner, Kaduna State, and also the administrative secretary. He is here with us to share with us his thoughts on this development, this release by the Independent National Electoral Commission. You are most welcome to our studio.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yes, it is a popular saying that religion is an opium of the masses and can easily be used to manipulate the thinking of the masses generally. This is an announcement coming from the INEC. Can this announcement, address the concerns as electioneering campaigns draws nearer?
Absolutely. I don't think we have enough time to discuss what I would have loved to talk about with respect to the proviso of Section 92 of the Electoral Act, especially Section 92, subsection 3. Okay. But I think there is the need for us to just go back a little. During the first 2 or 3 cycles of the general election, principally the 1999, 2003, and 2007 general elections, we had issues even recognizing the exact number of polling units that we had in Nigeria. Okay. Now, when Professor Jega came on board as the chair of the commission, a committee was set up to ascertain the exact number of the polling units that we had, and that was when the issue of religious, using religion for political purposes really came up, because we were able to identify a number of polling units that were stationed in, religious places.
Can this announcement address the use of religious places of worship?
Absolutely. You see, what the National Commissioner, Barrister Festus Okoye is trying to say is just to re-echo what the law is saying. Okay. And if I might quote briefly, I have a copy of the Electoral Act here. Section 92 says, subsection 1 says, a political campaign or slogan shall not be tainted with abusive language, directly or indirectly, likely to injure religious, ethnic, tribal, and sexual feelings. And then section 3, which is what really concerns us here, says, places designated for religious worship, police station, and public places shall not be used, A, for political campaigns, rallies, and processes, or B, to promote, propagate, or attack political parties.
These are the provisions of the law. So what will be the penalty for airing political parties?
There are penalties, really. I am not a lawyer, and I think it will take me time for me to really get the exact place. But definitely, when an offense is committed, there is a penalty. Okay. And the penalty could be either on an individual or an organization.
Thank you very much.
Definitely, the law is against that.
Thank you very much, Muhammad Awal Mashi, for coming to our studio to shed light on this. When we come back from the break, more reports will come your way. The Minister of State for Power, Godi J.D. Abba, says the federal government is committed in addressing infrastructural deficits in the education sector to further enhance academic programs. The minister stated this while inaugurating projects executed by Tertiary Education Trust Fund in Federal College of Education, Obudu, Cross River State. Oba Hyacinth reports.
The minister said since education is a hallmark for socio-economic development of the society, it is imperative for all stakeholders to join hands with government to provide basic needs of the sector. He hence led a fund for keen into President Buhari-led government to boost infrastructural needs for tertiary institutions and urge management of the institution to make good use of the edifice.
The funds provided by election have been properly, effectively deployed, and we look forward to more projects which use this fund effectively, so the president and the fund will be impressed by what you have done and they will give us more.
So the project that I also commissioned today, the college will put it into full usage and ensure that the implementation of all programs will be done using the facilities that have been provided for us by TEDFund.
The Executive Secretary of TEDFund, represented by Director Monitoring and Evaluation, Babatunde Oladije, commended the management of SC Obudu for executing the project according to specification and promised to make case for more funding for the institution.
They happen to be the 2015 to 2018 interventions, annual intervention projects, and which had to run to completion this year. We are delighted that the projects got completed. We are delighted that the funds were properly utilized.
Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TEDFund, an intervention agency, is supporting all levels of public institutions with funding alongside project management for the rehabilitation, restoration and consolidation of tertiary education in Nigeria. Oba Hyacinth, NTA News.
Emilio Ediko for sports update.